Hi everybody, and welcome back to Teachers Talk Money, where I help teachers master their money in order to give back to themselves. Today we're going to be talking about selling things online. So when I first became a minimalist, I got rid of a ton of items, but I mostly donated them. I didn't sell a lot online for two reasons. The first reason is that I didn't have that many items that had that much value, or at least I didn't really think I did, because my clothes were mostly very cheap, and my tech was old, and I just didn't have anything that I thought would be worth the time and energy of selling online. And I think I was mostly right. And then of course the other reason is that I viewed selling things online as this really time-consuming and stressful process, which isn't totally wrong. A few years ago, I went through a process where I sold a bunch of my books on Amazon. That was like all my textbooks, as well as like novels that I no longer wanted to hold on to. And it was quite a process because some things would sell really quickly and some things would take a long time, and then I was just still holding on to that item. And it required a lot of errands, going out to ship things, buying the envelopes, printing the shipping labels. And so it was a lot of drama that I really didn't actually want to deal with in the long term. There are some people that buy things and flip and sell them as a serious side hustle. And if you're into that, this is probably not the video for you, because I am not an expert about this stuff. But I do have a couple of tips for selling things online with intention, so that you don't end up kind of in the in-between where you're holding on to all this junk and you have all these envelopes and things like that. So this is more of a short-term solution to selling things in quick bursts versus over a long period of time. Because as you guys know, I'm not a proponent of holding on to stuff unnecessarily. After my book selling escapade about a year later, I sold some old tech. I sold a Fitbit, and I had a tablet that I had gotten for Christmas and just never really actually saw a need for. And it was quite profitable. I made $130 total off of both of those items. And with this experience, I had more of a minimalist mindset and kind of the right intentions going into it, and that is what I'm going to share with you today, because it made it much more painless of a process for me to sell these things. So tip number one for selling with intention is don't assume the worth of an item. The reason I didn't sell my Fitbit and my tablet earlier is because I kind of assumed that they weren't worth that much. My Fitbit was old and it had some scratches, and the tablet was already sort of a lower end tablet, so I just kind of figured I wouldn't get a lot of money from selling it used. But both of the items were worth a lot more than I anticipated. So check the value of an item that you're interested in selling, see what it's going for on eBay or Amazon or whatever selling site that you're using, and then consider if it's worth holding on to or selling or giving away. Tip number two is have a minimum price in mind before you get into selling an item. For me, if something's worth over $20, that's worth it for me to go through the effort to sell it. Because if I think it'll take about an hour total of effort, that's $20 for my 1 hour, which I think is pretty worthwhile. But under that, I really don't consider it worth it to go through all the effort. So know the value of your time and set it. And maybe for you, that's $15, maybe for you it's $50. But keep a minimum amount in mind so that you're not selling a number of $5 things that you really should just probably give away. Tip number three for selling with intention, set a time limit that you are going to have the item on sale. Don't make my mistake and hold on to a $30 textbook for 8 months just for the possibility that it might sell. For me, if an item is a lower value, closer to that $20 range, I will only wait a month to sell it. And after that, I'm not holding on to it anymore. If it's a higher value item, I'll wait 3 months. And after that point, if it hasn't sold, I'm not going to put in any more effort, even if I could potentially get a lot of money from it. again, maybe you're not a minimalist and these times are much longer for you. Maybe you're willing to hold on to things for 6 months or even a year before they sell. But the point is, have a limit in mind so that you're not just holding on to things, hopefully, that will probably never sell. And tip number 4 is have your shipping materials ready ahead of time. This is just a little something that has always come back to bite me in the butt because I haven't prepared properly. So if I'm about to list an item, I'm going to get those shipping materials that same day so that all I have to do is print the label, put it all together, and then take it out. It's so much easier getting the materials the same day you list the item than scrambling to get the materials and get the package out to meet a certain shipment date. So to recap, the tips for selling with intention are: don't assume the worth of an item, set a minimum price, set a time limit for how long you are going to list the item, and have your shipping materials ready ahead of time. Again, I'm not an expert on this. This is just something that I have done a couple times, but a lot of people, especially people on their debt-free journey or working really hard towards a financial goal, have a lot of stuff that they want to sell. And so I would set some standards for yourself given these tips and guidelines to be able to sell these things with intention. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on the channel. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in more money content. Comment below with any questions or shipping experiences that you have had selling things online. And I will see you next week. Bye.